Any pebia ya ope mpretu so bebre na so de obeto ye de so manma no omuhu nokura ewom.
Na ye mampanyi sign de to dwabie mu se obeye mampanyi no hunu so man no se esikasem no enyenyenyenyenye owe chire se de no ohunu no obaye no ohunu se na ano odin.
Mampanyi santo aso de sema tudwa etrese riba bia oman yenko enu nyina keta hye ene proye na bra waba se mampanyi kwesi bra obefiri so no obeye de obetumi akoketa hye ene proye.
Na edom kuma ewo mrahye bedwafie so editu dwa se abanwe eba yemritie yimu a besia $59 billion ena omabo mu kire mu se eno so efrehin.
Where sembi yetna sise nyime no ndu kase wona dia serema this chocolate drink nya ni so nyime onya bia ebe boy sense Ghana koko kroje eyi wontirimu ahoden no so na e ma oti se de wodi pepepe ade sense ya didie no e de yare ne ade bat this way insu kroje so special mineral water opebia no no na eboa na akofo ha obia mra na mum ono ma no wanu soup pa wo ton so aton bi na atofo beto me din e di anim ado mene
abna bayi nyano
after year seven na yenko Ghana man penny his excellency John Dramani Mahama then okomra shebedwam said your man amamra the toso edusia enson article 67 ehye no se wo se oman tibia wo mu no oman ma no ehu na okọ okasa no kiremu se edu ba bia ayekwa excellency mu oka mpreto so se bia obobo nsem ho ne mo se onyu bi a obobo nsem ho bebre ne mu edu ba bia no kura no so many pa no mo kasa ne hu oman Ghana ma odi anim no hu se sei no man bobre esitie sere be ya oman ma no so be hu tibia yewom na mum so okasha adachi bi oman ma no na yese ombedi ne ho ya se wan kanokra oman no bobre te no amfa nkire.
Of the 1992 Constitution requires that I give an account of the state of our nation to Parliament. I'm sad to report that the state of our nation is not good. Our economy is in crisis and our people are suffering unprecedented hardships. Mr. Speaker, we will host a national economic dialogue on March 3rd and 4th. On March 11th, the Minister of Finance on my behalf will present the budget estimates for the financial year 2025 to this August House. These two events will allow us to present the real state of Ghana's economic crisis to the people. Mr. Speaker, it is not my style to lament and shift blame when confronted with challenges. Mr. Speaker, it's not my style to lament and shift blame when confronted with challenges. My approach is to accept challenges and work hard to resolve them. Indeed, this is precisely what the people of Ghana elected me to do. I have therefore not come here to lament on the state of our country, though there's much to lament about. I understand why I was elected with such high voter confidence, and that is to solve Ghana's problem.
Na sa enhyiemu kro yase ye mampanyi editu dwa se obeye mampanyi eno hunu sese oman Ghana yisikasem no enye kra owachire no na onim se eniyama mu nye na so na onim se said you abehu ni sese ni sa na tebia no esitie na so wo se ni nyina mu no ebo akonya to ho no mo se ombefa akonya sa hodo so ede ne ma pegu akwemaboa ama yisikasem no ejene yibim.
Mr. Speaker, it would be remiss of me if I didn't admit that the entire economic value chain is currently in the internal ICU, As I recall mentioning a few intensive care units, as I recall mentioning a few years ago when we were still in opposition, the economy is even worse than we had envisaged. But this gives us ample opportunity to be innovative in our efforts to resuscitate it. And so what are the key takeaways from me for the people of Ghana? One, that we shall fight corruption effectively. Two, that we shall run a lean government of no more than 60 ministers. 3, that we shall realign the ministries, agencies, and departments to eliminate duplication. 4, that will introduce austerity, reduce wasteful expenditure and spending, and improving tax collection. 5, that we shall widen Ghana's taxness, reform tax waivers, especially on investments, and return to our homegrown solutions. 6, that we will grow what we eat and reduce imports of food and goods that can easily be produced here in Ghana. Your voice and contributions will prove invaluable on this journey of national reset, and I encourage you to make your voices heard. I commit to the judicious use of your resources, eschewing waste and ostentation. We will always endeavor to make the most of the little we have, so that together we can guarantee a brighter future for our children and our children's children.
Omampeni to an nsɛm no so ɛka sɛ kɛtahyehyɛ ne prɔyɛ yɛ adeɛ ɛhɔ ɔman Ghana paa na so ɔman ma no bɛnya ne mu gyidie sɛ ɔyɛ ɔmampani a ɔba bɛboa no ɔman no atumi afa ne ntoma pɛfra ɛyɛ baabi a ɛwɔ so ɔdan n'ani hwɛ nti wabɛyi ɔbɛhwehwɛ kɛtahyehyɛ ne prɔyɛ no ɔbɛko sɛ ne bɛyɛ a ɔman ma no bɛnya ne mu gyidie aboa no na ɔde ɔman Ghana atumi akɔ n'anim.
Mr. Speaker, we must end state capture. Mr. Speaker, we must end the purchase of state and public assets, such as land and other immovable assets, by members of the political class. Mr. Speaker, I pledge to fight corruption head-on by implementing Operation Recover All the Loot, ORAL. In that regard, Mr. Speaker, one of the first committees I established, even before my investiture as president, was to establish the Oral Committee on the sidelines of our transition. It is instructive to announce that the committee received over 2,000 complaints from the public and has since handed over a comprehensive report. This report has been given to the Attorney General for further review, thorough investigation, and eventual prosecutions. Mr. Speaker, the recent arrest related to the unwarranted payment of $2 million of Ghanaian taxpayers' money in the Sky train saga, and then also the National Service Ghost Name scandal, mark only the beginning of a comprehensive response based on the Oral Committee's findings. Mr. Speaker, let me state that my commitment to fighting corruption will continue with the establishment of a unit at the presidency and the maintenance of the hotline, where complaints and reports regarding graft and corruption will continue to be received and transferred to the Office of the Attorney General.
Onmunyafo Mahama ayare Ghana ye dom kese ne ba no dani wakasa edi atodwa se ensemo a ye mampanyi His Excellency John Dramani Mahama de tudwa enne no e wosi enya rehemu pa wosese de tie biara obehwa moman no ayeye woso wo show mahofama kra enne omode kopie mu omrahye bedwafia edom kuma no fom ho tuntum ena dom kese no ehye fita wose edom kuma no ekire so magye atom se omo bo man ne fom pint no mo hye sa tuntum no ena edom kese ehye fita de kire se de tie bia no eni da so e wo ho.
Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that they left this economy in a miserable state. And the attire that they adorn today says it all. But this side is in white because His Excellency the President, we knew very well, was bringing to us a message of hope. Mr. Speaker, our elders have cautioned that you don't leave your crown in the hands of a hyena as a caretaker when you are traveling. Don't be surprised when you come back and the carcasses of all your livestock are gone. Mr. Speaker, what has happened to our economy and our country, and the presentation that has been made says it all. It is sad, it is unfortunate. But His Excellency the President has brought us hope. Hope for the youth of this country. Hope for the women. Hope for the Okada drivers. Hope for the private sector. Hope for students. And hope for ordinary Ghanaians who did everything to bring him to office with such an overwhelming number. Mr. Speaker, we have no doubt that everything outlined here gives hope, and this House will support His Excellency to deliver on his commitment. But more importantly, this House will support His Excellency to deliver on the promise of accountability.
Na Dom Kumano Bana Deni Honorable Alexander Fenyomakin so de to dwa wo dwumadi na wie e ka se o mampani de oni o man Ghana ma edi no wa ka kire o man ne se o de asoafo e de osia na be ye adwuma na mu de o ye ne se o de nsabonkum e fa na o de nifa so afa nchen ba bi sanse o hwe enipa ye adwuma o mampani aso ya ye presidential staffers ni committee no adoso dodo enti o hwe asoafo ka so o te so no e no de akoshe committee ahodo no emu.
Mr. Speaker, the President again says that he has delivered less ministers. But it is clear that his strategy is, if less, more divide. You have appointed few ministers, but more and more and more presidential staffers and more committees. Mr. Speaker, the President again.
Honorable members, please.
The President again came to this House with a familiar story, the usual lamentations. He packaged it in a language as though we have a new beginning. Mr. Speaker, if the President has any concerns, his duty is to fix it.
Na edom kuma ewo mrahye bedwafie esan de to dwabiem se aban abai a enche yi omabo besia ekobe 59 billion Ghana cedis. No mu kyeremu se omo aban dada no omo kono amemu egina ne naso pa eno mu jade to honom ema aban fufuro ya abai enti omo ntiase se wo ba mritia ye mu yi omo besia ekobe 59 billion Ghana cedis.
One thing I want you to know, that our president did not address the true state of the nation's economy. We have a lot, time will not allow me. One statement that he made that I was very much surprised was the fact that we had left billions of cedis at the defense ministry. But he failed to tell us the crisis that was looming. He himself emphasized the point that our boundaries were threatening our country. In fact, this is what I have. I'll hand over to you. At the defense ministry, unprecedented achievements in the area of acquisition of equipment that has given us security as a country. He did not talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, our president failed to talk about the fact that Agenda 111 is ongoing, and that some of the projects we have completed them. Government is about continuity. Government is about continuing what has been done. You remember the popular affordable house by Amampanyi Kufuor. Previous government, being the NDC, abandoned this project. It had to take Nanado and Baumia's government to even complete those projects. Now he talked about railway sector. Tell me, in the history of this country, apart from Nanado's government, who has accomplished unprecedented projects in the area of railway sector? Driving from here to Ho, you encounter about such major railway projects for crossing the roads. We have commissioned some of them and even brought into practice or operation coaches that are operating now. So if the president is trying to create the impression that the economy was so bad and it was criminally mismanaged, that is the reason he's been given the mandate. And that is why he was trying to intimidate the judiciary by describing the judiciary in a bad way. But ladies and gentlemen, the same economy was able to take care of the poor child, implementing most of the enviable projects in terms of social intervention in kind and in cash on the continent of Africa and on the globe. But for free SHS, over 100,000 young ones would have been home. But for Nanado's government, NHIS had already collapsed under first Mahama's administration. School feeding had collapsed. LEAP had collapsed. In fact, teachers and nurses' allowances, the most essential services in any economic jurisdiction, is education and health. But he cancelled all of them, making some of poor Ghanaians coming home only to be confronted with unwanted pregnancies, and some got into drugs. So we are saying that MPP government, in spite of the economic crisis that was unprecedented since the First World War, we've been able to restore the economy. We handed over a restored economy to the Mahama government. A working economy, operationally, it was so fundamentally correct that the economy that we left, in terms of primary macro indicators, in terms of secondary macro indicators, in terms of education, in terms of agriculture, in terms of health, they actually inherited a better economy. All the payments he's talking about, where did they get money from? Where did they get money from? Within this shortest possible time, they have borrowed almost 59 billion Ghana cedis. Only in 50 days. Only in 50 days. Less than 2 months. Less than 2 months. Mahama's administration has borrowed 59 billion, unprecedented. So all that we are telling you is that Ghanaians have given them the mandate. Ghanaians are expecting them to treat everyone, whether you are from the north or south or central part of Ghana, whether you are Nilaye or Kwame Asante or Delali or Amegashi. Ghana is one country with one people with one destiny. Why are they even sacking nurses and teachers? Whilst in most of the communities in the northern part, Ashanti, and in the Volta region, they don't even have teachers and nurses.
Abusiafo ye gina ha ne ahomeka se ebonu so abaye ba ye de nkomotwetwe beto aso amamo ene oman ne tebie mu nsem a ye mampanyi di tudwa no ehon komo eni ebidi